We're here at the Balboa Island History Museum with Hanne Parks on March 31st, 2014. My first question with you would be, what is your earliest memory of the island?
Coming here when I was 19.
What
I
year?
arrived here from Austria.
What year did you arrive?
1947, after World War II.
What was it like when you arrived?
Very few houses.
Yes.
I was at the wedding reception on Avalone Street, and that was my mother-in-law's best friend. And I walked to church, there were no cars, very, very few.
So your mother-in-law lived here as well? So your husband?
Our house on the bayfront is that we are the third generation to live there.
Wow. Maybe we can go take the story back a little bit. You said your husband, Bob, moved here in 1922. Would you share?
No, he was born in
He was-
1920.
Oh, okay.
He was born in Los Angeles.
Born.
They didn't live here,
Okay.
but the parents owned the property.
Okay. And then he moved here himself and purchased property? And no.
It's a long story.
Okay, this is where it is here.
No, here, read this. The family, the house on Marine Avenue, I read it all the time.
Okay.
The small one-bedroom shack on Marine Avenue was built by Bob's, my husband's, grandparents. It was pretty much like most of the homes in the area at the time. I was used only as a summer home, since the grandparents lived in Glendale at 614 West Dryden Street. That doesn't interest you. The house on Marine Avenue was never an official residence. The family never moved here, as you stated. It always had just been a vacation spot. Still have so many of them now. The shack, of course, was eventually torn down to make a gas station. That's the corner of Marine and Park.
I see.
The family, the gas station was run by Bob's father with the help of an uncle, until they had a disagreement. The garage apartment on where I live now was built in 1933.
Wow.
Still there, very good shape.
Yes.
The family moved there for 2 or 3 years before moving into the grandparents' house in Glendale. The grandparents had lost all their life savings in the collapse of the bank during the Depression. Ruth, Joe, that's my parents-in-law, and their 2 sons, my husband and his brother, later moved into the Orange Grove house in the Tuna Canyon and lived there for a couple of years before returning to Balboa Island. For a number of years, there was also another gas station here near the other end of Marine Avenue, which I didn't know. That must have been earlier yet. So I came in 1947. Bob's parents had lived at the place. There are 2 houses on the property. This is the ocean, the bay. I live in the bay front. And behind me is this little apartment where they then lived. The bayfront wasn't built there much later.
Right.
This was front yard. So when I came, I moved into what was their house, into that little apartment, downstairs and upstairs.
Wow. Would you share about moving here because you were war bride, so you reaction just to the island itself and perhaps a little bit of California culture? What were your feelings?
It was all amazing. It was all. You see, I didn't come at normal times. I came as a war bride, and Austria was torn, really torn up. It was done in 4 parts. My part where I lived was Russian. Some part was English. There was French and British. The British were the best because they treated the people nicely. The Russians were out, it was just awful. they cut some bacon that they bought on our grand piano.
Wow.
And things like that.
Right, that's startling.
Now, we had a big orchard in the house where I lived in Vienna. I lived outside the town.
Okay.
And it was fruit time. They took the apricots which were ripe then, cut the tree, ate the apricots and threw it away. Things like that. They had never seen, I kid you not, an inside toilet. They didn't know what that was. They looked at it and flushed it and laughed and peed outside. It was sickening.
Sure.
See, but you couldn't say a word. You could not say a word. One word from me and they would slap you.
You shared right before our interview, you moved here and were the first couple to be married in the church.
Mm-hmm.
So would you share?
I was here 3 months before I married. I came in February and I married at the end, not 2 months, at the end of March. March 15th, 47. Bob and I were the first couple to be married in that church. It was new, fairly new. There was an Irish priest here whom I could hardly understand.
Mm.
He had just come over from Ireland.
Wow. What was the parish like? Was it a very small group of people?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, when you're 19 and happily married from another country, you don't pay attention to those things. Then we went on a honeymoon, you know, I just, whatever.
Sure.
There were very few houses. There was a real estate house on this side, across from the church. What's that real estate now? Across, huh?
Colwell?
Yeah.
Colwell.
That's, which is
Coldwell?
Hold on, Baker.
Or Abrams.
Abrams.
Abrams. He's right across from the
That was a
church.
small, it was much smaller, built on.
Mhm.
That's a real estate office. Funny story. It was my mother-in-law, since the boys were grown, worked part-time at the real estate office, and he was owned by her best friend and her husband. The husband they lived on Abalone. The husband was huge. The friend was like this. And one day, since there was no central heating, they had a little heater in the office. It was cold. And by the end of March, when we married, they wanted to take the heater upstairs on the shelf. Okay, the big husband, this is a funny story. The big husband, but a true story. The big husband put the heater up. You know, it was built like a pear. And as he put the heater up, he felt his pants were slipping. And he couldn't do anything about it because that heater was heavy. And the pants went. That's a true story.
Wow.
It was, but nobody was in the office. But
No.
my mother-in-law, they laughed and laughed and laughed. Okay, end of story. There were very few houses on this side. There was
Right.
not even the Jolly Rogers wasn't there.
Goodness.
I don't think so. At least I didn't know.
Do you remember what stores were? So we had a gas station, you had the real estate office. Were there many more things?
There was a hardware
The
store.
hardware store, right? You remember?
And next to
going-
the hardware store was another store. I don't know what it was called.
You brought some earlier pictures than what we were speaking of, but of your husband in the 20s. Did you hear a lot of those early stories as well then? from
I
him?
wasn't there then. He was there.
Right. Did he share a lot of kind of the history of the island
Not
with
much.
you? Not
He said,
much.
my husband was a scientist. He wasn't a talker like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. He said it was fun. Oh yes, he did say that when he worked for somebody near the gas station, there were a lot of stingrays in the Grand Canal.
Mhm.
And he fished, they wanted to eat them. He fished the stingrays out of the canal and got 10 cents a stingray. They thought that was great.
Wow. Pretty neat.
Well, you know, people do eat them,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
and they're good.
Mhm.
I was in Spain visiting, they eat stingrays all the time.
Would you share why Balboa Island holds such a special place in your heart?
We had bicycles, we bicycled all over.
Mhm.
It was wonderful. go to Del Mar, we went to the beach there. There was nothing there but the beach. I think the breakwater was there. I don't know, we just backed all over. We didn't have a car at first. Then we gradually got a car. I didn't live here full time after I married.
No?
No, I didn't live here till my husband retired in '87.
Okay.
We visited here, the grandparents, all the time.
I see.
But I did not live here full time at all. You should talk to Uncle Jerry. He lives here. He knew what it was like when he was 5 years old. I wasn't there. I wasn't even born.
Right.
So that's what you should do.
Sure, those are
See,
darling.
I knew the
images.
mother, they were lovely to me when I came,
Mm.
but that was many years later.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I assume since Bob was born in 1922 and his brother in 25, I think that mother must have been 40 years old. But yeah, she's gone. But you should talk to him.
Um,
This is only Bob, my husband, his brother, not him. I also know that the house next to us when I married sold for $14,000, which was a big money. It was brand new. Now, you may not be aware of that mansion we have next to us. 3 stories, big mansion, built for 3 years. And the people don't ever want to live there. It's empty, it's always empty. I don't know where they built, nobody knows. It's a beautiful home, elevator, you have it, and they live in Thousand Oaks and don't care. It's empty, they don't want to rent it or sell it.
When you moved here or visited more
That's
so,
for the $14,000 house.
14,000.
It was next door, that must have been 1506.
What did it just sell for, honey, do you know?
Say again?
When it just sold, what did it sell for?
I don't know.
When you visited here initially in the 40s, did you feel, I know, was there a community that you noticed? Was it different? And has it changed over the years until you moved? In the
It has
80s?
changed a lot.
Has it?
A lot more visitors, a lot more people, a lot more traffic.
Sure.
It has changed so much in those days when my husband was in high school, which was
Right.
way before I came. He said you always walk in the middle of the street because there were no cars. Not for the winter. They all went home.
So different.
Most people came from Pasadena,
Right.
San Marino, Taconiana. You probably heard all that
So
stuff.
neat. Would you have a favorite story here at the island that brings out your inner child in you? So maybe an experience that really kind of connects to that inner child.
I don't know what that was. I used to play, I still do, play the accordion. And I would sit in front of the house and play by the hour. My husband was, for a while, working, and I was alone. And so that was fun.
It's neat. Did a lot of people stop to listen?
Still do.
Oh, you still play.
Hmm?
It's neat. You also mentioned that you swim every day in the bay.
In the summer.
In the
when it's
summer,
warm.
that's right. So did you do that right away when you moved here?
Oh,
Were you
yeah.
an avid
No,
swimmer?
no, it was February when I came.
When you came,
Yeah.
okay.
But in the summer, yes. People stop me even today, all the time. Are you still swimming? I said, of course.
That's neat.
I now also go swimming 3 times a week to do water aerobics in the pool. Newport Beach Tennis Club. We were tennis players all our lives,
Yeah.
and skiers, and flyers,
That's right.
and
you're
water
a pilot,
skiers.
both background. That's so neat. Wow. Did you do any of the other water activities out here? A lot of sailing, perhaps, or any other water sports?
Well, water skiing
Water skiing.
all the time.
All the time. Okay.
You know, the 2 platoons, you could water ski back in the back bay. It was not forbidden like it is now.
Sure. Wow.
I don't know what did I do, bicycle? We went on ski trips all the time, every year, when we could. Some years we couldn't because my husband was at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Right.
and she was in charge of some of the shoots there, and he couldn't get away.
And luckily you're at a vacation spot, right? And it seems like this place is a very wonderful place to come and to be, so
It was
nice
wonderful.
place to live.
I was alone a long time, all the time. You know, when in history, he was deputy director of JPL. Yeah. When you're in this position, you don't go home at 5 o'clock.
Sure.
You come home late, if you're home at all. He would have to fly back and forth to Washington to get money for the projects. It was not easy, but it was okay.
Wow. Do you have special holiday memories that relate to Balboa Island?
Special what, man?
Holiday memories?
Well, it was after, yeah, those Christmas parties, when Christmas boat parade, sure. People used to love to come to our house to see the parade. Everybody does, still.
Right.
Mhm.
Long-stone tradition. Did you see it change over the years?
Yeah, at first there were just a few boats. Now it's big. Too big in my opinion, too commercial.
What about 4th of July celebrations? Have you seen a lot of that change as well?
We allowed the things then.
Right,
We
the
were-
fireworks.
Fireworks, yes. It was allowed for many years when I first came.
Did you enjoy that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have that in Austria.
No? What about?
You know, again, that's not Balboa Island. Early on, I don't know if you remember that there was a Wright's ice cream store on the bridge, a huge bridge that goes over the bay, you know, the big bridge?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you go up to Dover, right on that corner of the thing was a Wright's ice cream. That was the ice cream to get.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But that's not the island.
Mm.
Then there was a little mobile home park down there at the corner. Wait a minute. Island, what did we do? We did a lot. We never sat still, I'll tell you that.
Sure.
My husband swam with me, of course. Then we bought our first boat. But that's,
Neat.
the first boat was outboard motors. I think we repaired this outboard motors for 2 hours while we went out boating. Now we have another boat still. It was an indoor motor. It's a shore mooring. You know, shore moorings have to be small boats. Do you know that? Yeah.
Right.
The big boats that are out in the bay have to belong to the yacht club. Newport Yacht Club. No, pardon me, Balboa Yacht Club.
That's right.
You know, there may not be an Ensenada race this year that's so traditional, because the Mexicans, there was a big article in the Register, I get the Orange County Register, just the Mexicans 2 months ago slapped a big boat tax on all the boats coming and going.
Really?
Wow.
And so only, as far as I heard, 90 boats are going this year, and usually it's 400 to 500
Wow.
boats to Ensenada.
Wow.
It's a 100-year traditional race. People have loved to go. But now, with the Mexican thing, they cut off their own finger, because the Americans would spend money when they come to Ensenada. They would eat there, they would sleep there and have a good time. Now that's gone.
Oh. It is a big change. Do you recall celebrations during Easter week? No,
No,
or Bell week? I know this used to be more of a
People say it was
vacation
crowded.
town.
That was before my time.
Okay, so you didn't see too much of the transition there.
No.
How would you say Balboa Island became a home to you?
Parents-in-law were sweet, very nice, accepted me immediately, called me their daughter, not their daughter-in-law. They were lovely. That's home. I was left out for my mother at age 19, gone. And you couldn't go back and forth. There were no airplanes in those days. You had to go by boat. And that was so expensive that a young couple, not even an old couple, hardly anybody went, except the rich people, the really rich people went to Hawaii on that fancy boat. It wasn't done. But A little boat is fun, I think. We water ski, we still drive around. My grandchildren now do it.
It's neat that now you have another generation who come and do some of the same activities that you love throughout all those years. Did you teach them some of the swimming in the bay or any?
My one grandson is a lifeguard for the city of Newport Beach. He's a tremendous swimmer. He's 22, he's done that. You know they have that lifeguard, junior lifeguard program?
Right.
He was in that for 5 years. And then he was chosen to be a city lifeguard for the city of Newport. They make big money, $27 an hour.
It's neat that they've really embraced the lifestyle out here as well. So it's,
And the other grandson was a lifeguard too, but now he's not. He's applying to law school. He's 25.
that's great. Would you share some of?
So when you say do they swim, do they swim?
I sound experts.
Yeah. Well, each year, you may not know, but a lifeguard, to be a lifeguard, each year they have a tremendously hard test. About 180 sailors this year apply to be a lifeguard, and now 13 are chosen. They have to swim around the Balboa Pier, then run to the Newport Pier and swim around the Newport Bay now in February when it's cold. And the first 13 have a chance.
Did they participate in some of the children's activities, the lessons for sailing and all they have the training facility here for?
Say that?
Did your grandchildren or your children participate in some of the organizations designed for children to learn to sail?
Yeah, like the PEI, eh?
Exactly.
No, they did not. Because we didn't live here, we lived in Rock and Rock.
That's right, okay.
No, but our hair was wonderful.
Okay, that's wonderful that.
No, my husband didn't either. He was old enough to do it. But he was a scientist from the word go. When he was a teenager, he got a radio license, regular, and he repaired people's radios on the boat. There was Humphrey Bogart, had this boat here in the bay, and he repaired that boat too.
How many, wow, did you encounter some of these celebrities yourself?
There were many.
Right.
There were many film stars, yeah.
Do you
Shirley
recall-
Temple lives here.
That's right. Do you recall seeing her?
No, that was before my
Did
time.
you interact with Bogart or any of the other,
No.
John Wayne, or see them around?
No. No,
No, okay.
he was out of my range.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested.
No.
He wasn't my thing.
Would you share some of the life-changing events that occurred to you here at the island? Whether it be personal or your families or the community?
Got more and more crowded, and less, in some ways, pleasant. I'm glad I live on a little island, which is more quiet. Some people are not as friendly as they used to be. On the little island, practically everybody says good morning as they walk by. And a big island is not so sure, more tourists. But they're nice too. But they come from other places mostly. My English is terrible. I come from other places, mostly bad English.
Not at all.
Come mostly from other places.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you share some of, perhaps a story about a business on Marine Avenue that may exist today or doesn't, maybe from the past that it used to be? Or you shared earlier about the hardware store. Are there others?
Now
that
there's
you
many
recall?
little other stores that I don't frequent too many. Some of them are nice and some of them are junk, in my opinion. Well, as I said, I like Wilma's, it's okay, or I don't go there. I think it's nice. I've never gone to the other place and the other place. They say the food's good. You know what?
The VI?
Huh?
VI? The Village Inn?
The Virgin, yeah. And that wasn't there. Yes, there was some, I don't remember. There was something there.
right before it.
But the Hershey's Market was there.
Yes, you said you were familiar with the owners. Would you share a little bit about your interaction?
They were so nice, they were friendly. You see, when you're so young and you lose everything, you're done home. They spoke German to me, that was nice. It felt good. They knew English too, but it was an accent. They had not been here many years, I'm not sure. And everybody shopped at Hershey's. My husband, on a bicycle, delivered some of the groceries, and that was fun.
That's
Now,
neat.
Hershey's was the market for the area. There was no pavilions,
Right,
drugstore,
right.
nothing.
So, you said he had a Swiss background and his wife was German.
Mhm.
We were
That's
discussing
what I
that
think it
earlier.
was, yeah.
That sometimes people think that they're Italian, so it's neat that you knew them personally and
For
could
sure
attest
not,
that they
no.
have the German
And Ruthie,
language.
they only had one daughter, Ruth.
Mhm.
They didn't call her Ruth, maybe they did.
Ruthie.
And she went to high school with your husband, you said?
Mhm.
Did
Same
he-
year,
The same year, wow.
Harbor High School. That was the only one here. There was no Corn Del Mar.
Right.
There was no Irvine, nothing. Irvine was fields. I went on an interesting bus ride once, 4 hours long, about Mr. Irvine. That's a very interesting story.
Right.
But that's taking away from what I'm here for.
That must be something to witness. It's still a communal transformation from it being a field to something much more urban. So it's so neat that you were able to.
He was an entrepreneur. Mr. Irvine was an entrepreneur.
Sure.
He grew when they tried to go to Alaska, when they knew they didn't have any supplies. He made that available from down here and had some horses and ride up to San Francisco and sold them there for a fortune because they weren't had. They came by the thousands to that area and then went north. That's how he got too rich.
Right.
Mr. Irvine hated food smells when he lived way back by what is now number 5. He lived way back in the house, and next to it had a small house built to cook because he didn't like the smell.
Oh my word.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
She's shaking her head.
That's unbelievable, right? Great
Well,
story.
That was just a chancy thing. Somebody said, do you want to go see the early Irvine company? I said, sure. It was a bus ride. Cost.
Sure. When did you take that bus ride, the 4-hour?
The bus ride
Uh-huh.
started in, where you see Irvine is, where's that hill?
Okay.
Up that hill, what's that hill called?
I'm not familiar.
Saddleback?
No, not that far, that's way down.
Too
Right,
far
That's
down.
here, this side of Irvine, it's already Irvine now.
So is it Shady Canyon or Bonita Canyon?
No, up the hill, way up high. There's a
Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock.
Oh,
So-
okay.
so
We should
Turtle
know
Rock.
that.
Turtle
Turtle
Rock.
We lived
Turtle
there.
Rock.
Oh,
Yes, you should know that.
Yeah, Turtle Rock.
Okay.
The bus met at, 1 o'clock at Turtle Rock. Took 4 hours,
Nice.
many stops.
And this was recent that you were part of this?
No,
Or
no,
this is years ago? In the 80s
Maybe
perhaps?
15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Maybe.
Okay.
That's a baby.
That's pretty neat. So you came here for such an interesting reason to be a part
was
of this
interesting
history.
me.
Yeah, goodness, it shaped a lot of your history. Or is there any other stories you'd like to share with us about moving here and just encountering the island and the community that you lived with since?
There's much I could tell, but nothing that concerns the island as much. I don't know.
Well, your thoughts here have been wonderful, and thank you for just sharing all the memories you've made here, and this is great. So thank you for your time, and that concludes our interview.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.